Welcome to Utah Lake Explore More, the official podcast of Utah Lake Authority. I'm Sam. Courtney's missing today, but we'll have her back soon. And in this podcast, we'll explore one of Utah's most important natural resources, Utah Lake. We'll talk with recreation experts, community leaders, conservation professionals, and the people who know the lake the best. And today here with me, I have one of those people actually. We're doing our first interview, which is with Jordan Pili, but you may know him as Polly Angler if you ever are on Facebook or TikTok. He's big on TikTok. So I've got Jordan here with me. I really appreciate you coming on, Jordan.
Yes, of course. So happy to be here.
It's going to be fun, I think. And as you can see on the shirt, if you're watching the video of this, poly fishing, right, stuff. But that's what we wanted to bring you on today for, right, was to talk about angling for carp. Because I know you've been doing that for, how long have you been fishing at the lake now?
I've been fishing at the lake for a very long time, but we've only been on social media probably for the past couple of years. But we've been fishing at Utah Lake. I grew up right by the Utah Lake. I grew up right behind the 7-Eleven right there on the corner off Center Street. And so I've been fishing at Utah Lake almost my whole life, but
nice, man.
Just been on social media for the past couple of years.
Cool. And I know as we've talked, you really like to focus in on carp. Why is it you like going for carp specifically?
I think it's just the pure joy and happiness that we get from an amazing fight that you get from the carps. I feel like there's no other fish in the Utah Lake that gives you such an excitement and adrenaline rush than carp.
I've heard it's a really good fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, what we look for is takedowns, is when the pole will bend almost at a U shape, and that's how strong they fight, is
you're
to
not
catch in the first place.
Those.
But you're catching 20, 30 carps in a couple hours, and so that fight, that excitement, that joy, that adrenaline rush is within every catch.
And I know you've been teaching your kids too, right? Like it's not just you out there. And even strangers, I think you mentioned to me, come
strangers, kids, family members, random people that follow me on social media. We're bringing everybody to the lake. We're catching carp.
Preaching the good word, right?
Yes, exactly.
Fishing about Utah Lake and carp. Okay, I like this. Now, you've used a couple of different methods, if I remember correctly, right? Like you've done rod and reel, but you've also done some bow fishing.
We just got into bow fishing.
Okay, so this is new development.
Yes.
And I think, was it a recurve bow?
It was a recurve bow. Okay. It's a fish stick recurve bow. One of my videos, I called it a crossbow, and I got a lot of comments that people were correcting me that it's not a crossbow.
So just recently got the recurve bow. So tell me about that experience. That's new for you.
My wife got me a recurve bow for Father's Day, but she brought the gift a week early. So I was like, you know what? We got to go give that a try. It looks like a lot of fun. All
right.
We went on the Provo River just right next to the Delta.
Yeah.
And there are hundreds of carps there that are
I heard there was something happened during the spawn that a whole bunch of them got upstream, and I don't know if it was just lower water levels, but a lot of them were still up there.
Yes, there are thousands of carp right now. And so we took the recurve bowl and we went down for the first time and shot us a handful of carp.
Nice, man.
Yes.
What with that versus like the traditional rod and reel you've usually done at the lake, like what do you think you liked about the bow experience?
The bow experience is you're able to get a lot more in a shorter time period.
Okay.
The bow experience is, you're right behind the carps, right? We're all swimming upstream, and so you're able to get right behind them and pull that arrow back, and it sticks right into them. So, So it's just, when you're in face with them, you're right there in the waters, and you're one with the carp.
Okay.
So,
and I imagine it'd be faster too, because like I guess with fishing, you're usually waiting for a fish to go after bait, right? And you got to get in the right spot. Versus with the bow, you see it, you shoot it, you're good to go, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Was it hard for you to learn it all things? Like, do you have much trouble with that, do you think?
Well, it's a lot harder than you think. Again, I thought I could just aim at the carp and it'll hit every time, but after posting all of my missed shots on social media, there are a lot of people that corrected me and told me how to shoot the carps. And so I guess you have to aim before the carp, because I guess the arrow hits the water and then it shoots forward. And so if you're aiming right at the carp, then again, you're going to miss it.
Okay.
Probably 99% of the time.
It sounds like it's almost like with skeet shooting, where you're leading where you expect it to be,
Correct.
right? Not where it is in the moment. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool, man.
Still learning, still mastering it, but I've spent a lot of money just kind of upgrading my bow, and I put some scopes on it and the whole nine. So we're ready to go out there and have a lot of fun. So.
Okay, cool. Well, I know bow fishing is actually really popular on Utah Lake. There is I think it's called the Utah Bowfishing Association, is a group of people across the state that do it at various water bodies. And it's really popular on the lake. It's really been cool to see even people get like actual fishing boats with platforms and stuff going. So even with the more traditional fishing you're doing with rod and reel with the kids, you talked about it being a great fight. I know you like to spend a lot of time at Utah Lake State Park. That's a great one. I know some anglers don't like to share where their honey holes are.
Yeah.
But for you, like a lot of people ask us, like, where should I go for fish at the lake, right? Like I've even seen posts on social media of, hey, I've been to Utah Lake a couple of times, not getting anything, right? Like, where would you first off recommend people try to find carp? I know there were some in the river, but hopefully I know that the city and the state worked together and pushed them back downstream, so there shouldn't be as many carp in the river anymore. But where on Utah Lake would you recommend to somebody who wants to try and catch carp?
Honestly, anywhere at the state park. And the state park for us is our favorite park to go to.
Sure, and it's so big, right?
It's so big. There's tons of room, literally anywhere. That new dam that was just built.
On the south side, right?
On
where
the
the
south
old
side,
river channel was?
we're catching carp there. Again, right now, there's a ton of carp just right next to the dam.
Okay.
There's a ton of carp just right off the rocks.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing about the state park is that there's not a secret spot or a specific spot you can catch anywhere.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Sounds cool, man. And I know you've had so much success with carp, at least since notoriety on social media and such, that a lot of people have asked, like, what bait do you use?
Yeah.
What equipment are you using? Any advice for somebody who's going after carp for what?
I use the pack bait, like our homemade pack bait.
Okay.
So all we're doing is we're getting a bucket and we're mixing strawberry jello, some oats, some masa flour, so it's the tortilla flour, and we're just mixing that into a bucket with some corn, and we're using the corn juice that kind of makes it almost like a cookie dough, right? And that's what we're putting on our hooks and our method feeders.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, so we're just mixing that up, and it's the strawberry jello too, right?
Interesting.
The strawberry jello
So you're basically
is
making a carp power bait for yourself,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of our secret
That's cool.
recipe that we make, and we put that on our method feeder and some corns on a treble hook, and you throw that out, and 99% of the time you're going to catch a carp.
Okay. Here's a random one for you too. Like when you throw the rod and reel in, typical day, how long in your experience do you typically have to wait before you actually get a bite on the line?
It can be different, just depends on the time of day as well too.
Sure,
So if you're fishing early mornings or evenings, you can get bites pretty quickly. I think midday is a lot slower for some reason. I think a lot of fish go deeper when it's a lot hotter outside. And so, I mean, it can range anywhere between the first 15 minutes we've caught carp, but sometimes it's taking us 2-3 hours to catch carp. Right?
Okay,
But
cool.
we've caught carp pretty quickly.
Slight digression for you. I just remembered that you ran a white bass tournament
Yes.
at Utah Lake as well, right? Because so many people get too caught up in thinking there's only carp at Utah Lake, right?
Correct,
They
yeah.
forget that there's two species of catfish and white bass, largemouth, smallmouth bass, green sunfish, bluegill, like there's tons of stuff, right?
Yep.
Tell me about how that came to be and how that went, the white bass tournament. You did.
Yeah, so I just announced it
Or
one
challenge.
day.
I guess it wasn't a tournament
Yeah,
per se,
it
right?
was a challenge, yeah. And so again, I just announced it just with my followers on social media. Again, we have a good amount of followers on social media that one day I just did a random selfie video of me announcing a bass tournament. I said, hey, I'm looking for the best white bass anglers out there. Whoever can catch the most white bass, we're giving you $500.
Okay.
Right, and so we just threw something out there, and we had a overwhelming amount of people that registered. So we had over 200 people register, but we capped it out at 20 people, just because it was kind of our first challenge. We really wanted to make it nice and look professional, and so we only did 20 people, but it was a huge success. Again, there was a ton of people there watching. I think in total we caught over 900 white bass.
Oh, wow.
That day in 2 hours. And so the tournament was only from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and we caught over 900 bass.
That's cool. Speaking of carp again, I think it's really cool that there's tournaments on the lake, and I know there's more coming back.
Yeah.
The 10 years I've worked at the lake, when I first started, there weren't really any happening. And then the Bowfishing Association started some. I've seen some other anglers start some catfish tournaments, your white bass challenge. We've had our great carp punt that's on really well. I think it's cool seeing how anglers can participate and have fun,
Yeah.
but then can also learn something about lake and how it's cool, right? That there's
Yeah.
white bass, right? And they can have fun with that. I'm curious, I've seen you making some posts since our announcement with the state about the PCB advisory being lifted, right? A lot of people don't realize that there's over, I think it's like 40 plus lakes or reservoirs in Utah have one or more consumption advisories, right? Lake Powell even has a few. And that either stipulates don't eat it at all, or you can eat up to a certain amount a month for a healthy adult, right?
Yeah.
And those range across PCBs, mercury, lead, various things. At Utah Lake, the entire time I've worked here, the only one Utah Lake had, even though everybody loves to rag on Utah Lake, it only had two, both for PCB, one for carp, one for catfish, right?
Yeah.
So our announcement was carp is now going to be fully removed based off the monitoring and sampling we did, and catfish is being improved, meaning you can eat more of it without it being a concern. So that happened, and you started posting on social media about like, well, should we try it?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what kind of response you're getting? Where's that going?
Well, I think that video, I had over 50,000 views. Just a lot of mixed comments and mixed feelings of why I should not eat carp, and those that say that carp's really good to eat.
Sure.
Again, I think it's just like any other fish. You just have to cook it right. Like, in
Sure.
my opinion, there are a lot of other fish out there that are bottom feeder, fish. Even in the ocean, there's halibut, there's flounders, there's catfish. They're also bottom feeders, right?
Yeah.
As well as carp. And so I think just like anything else, you have to just, in my opinion, just cook it right and
Sure. Yeah,
let it soak in buttermilk overnight. And so I just think it just depends on the recipe that you have
how you
and
prepare it, right?
and how you prepare it.
Yeah, man.
Right,
We're talking as staff. We actually want to look at doing some kind of either recipe, cook-off, something. So like
Yeah.
we're curious to see what you hear on social media as well in the future. So keep
Well,
in touch
I will
with
be eating a carp.
Oh, I'm looking
Believe
forward to it.
that.
I look
And there
forward
will
to
be
hearing
video.
it. Sounds good, man. But would love to hear, like you've talked a little bit about the bow fishing, about rod and reel, your kids and stuff. I'm sure you've got some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience at Utah Lake, whether it's carp or even something else, that was a really cool experience for you?
I think just recently I did a video on it as well. It was a day that it was just really crazy weather. The waves at Utah Lake can get pretty big.
They can, yeah.
And so my son and I were out there just fishing in these crazy weather conditions, and we both hooked on a carp at the same time. And so we
really?
were both trying to navigate through our lines crossing, and so we are just kind of running into each other. But we both reeled in a 15-pound carp and an 18-pound carp.
Wow.
So they were monsters.
Those are big, yeah.
Yeah, they were tanks. Or what we like to call them our hogs, right? And so we nicknamed the carps hogs. And so we reeled in these two massive hogs and brought them on the dock, but the weather conditions just made it hard. But it was so much fun just because my son and I were to do it together.
That's crazy, man.
But the other one was just recently too with my 8-year-old. He loves catching carp, but he likes to catch them by hand. And so we go on the Provo River all the time, and you can see them kind of move in schools together. So my son likes to creep behind them, and he'll just jump on them and hold them. And the carp will almost, and he's not a big kid.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old is light, he's skinny, he's small, and so those 15, 20-pound carps would take him for a ride for a little bit, and he loves it. He's just laughing and rolling around in the water. And I have a video where he comes out the water and he's holding it like a baby, and he's like patting it on the back. And so there's tons of videos and experiences with my son just wrestling with the carps.
That's crazy.
And I think that's why we love catching the carps, because I feel like it's one of the most safest fishes you can catch out
True,
there,
there's no
right?
spines or anything, right?
There's
to
no
have to worry about.
spines, there's no stingers like catfish, right? Again, my 2-year-old, we'll throw the carps on the bank and she'll play with the carps while they're
That's crazy.
bouncing around.
It's cool.
And so,
It's a good family fish, right?
so that's
Way to
why we
introduce the
love
kids.
catching carp, right?
Sure.
From my 2-year-old all the way to my 11-year-old, they all can have fun catching carp, and there's no spines on them.
Cool.
Key,
Well,
so.
one last question I have for you, and really appreciate you coming in and
Yes.
talking about this. I wish we could do another conversation in the future, maybe, because we only have so much time on the podcast. But all of what you've talked about carp and the white bass and stuff, somebody could argue, like, well, you could do the same thing somewhere else. Why do I have to do it at Utah Lake, right? Why do you keep fishing at Utah Lake? Like, I know you fish other water bodies too, right?
I do.
But
yeah.
that's one issue we struggle with at Utah Lake, is that a lot of people in the general public are like, that lake's gross, I don't want to go there, whatever the reason, they don't like it. And instead they go to Deer Creek or Jordanelle or Strawberry. But why would you tell somebody, yeah, this is why I like going to Utah Lake specifically?
I think it's your most family-oriented lake, in my opinion, especially at the state park.
Okay.
Is you have some beautiful parks there. Bathrooms are clean, right? And then the diversity of fish there, where you can fish inlet. Again, you can fish off the rocks, you can fish by the dam. There's just so much diversity when it comes to fish.
Sure.
My wife and kids go to the park, and they have such a beautiful park right there where they're playing it and having a good time while and me and the boys are fishing. And so I think it's just being together as a family, right? And that's why we fish,
Sure.
For me, it's just seeing the pure happiness and joy of my kids being out there and not being on technology, not being on the video games, not watching TV. Again, they just love being at the park, whether it's playing at the playground or fishing,
Sure.
right? And we've had almost every kid's birthday party at the state park, and they just love being out there, right?
That's
Just
great.
so much to do.
That's cool, man. I love, too, that it's also really easily accessible, right? Like my counterexample, people driving 45 minutes or whatever to Deer Creek or to Strawberry. Utah Lake's right in people's backyards, right?
It's in my backyard,
It's
and
easy
so
to
it's a
get there.
10-minute drive.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Is there anything else you'd want to share to try and encourage people to come fish for carp at Utah Lake before we end?
Just come out and give it a try. Come out and catch some hogs with us.
Yeah,
right?
man.
And
Some
so
hogs.
We'll show you a good time.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate
Yes,
you
sir.
being on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Utah Lake Explore More. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Utah Lake, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, get outside, explore more, and we'll see you at the lake.